Good evening, folks. Now, discussion B, I've made a little essay for you. The title for the essay is Why Modern Medicine is Failing Us. Okay, here we go with the presentation I made for you. Modern medicine was built to be a miracle. It grew out of an era defined by triumph, antibiotics that conquered infection, surgeries that rewrote autonomy, ICUs that pulled people back from the brink for decades. The story of medicine was a story of rescue, swift, decisive, heroic. But if you walk into any hospital today, especially in communities like ours across northwestern Pennsylvania, you'll see a different story unfolding. Not a dramatic rescue, but a slow unraveling. An older man sits in the hallway bed, waiting for a room that will not open. He has heart failure, diabetes, and mild cognitive impairment, and a daughter who has been caring for him alone. The cardiologist adjusted his medications. The neurologist orders imaging. The primary care doctor tries to hold the center. Everyone is doing their job, yet no one is responsible for the whole picture. It is not a failure of clinicians. It is a failure of the system. They are trapped inside a system built for yesterday's battles. Modern medicine still behaves as if the greatest threats are sudden, a heart attack, a ruptured appendix, a car crash. It is extinguishingly trained for the dramatic moment. It knows how to intubate, how to shock a failing heart, how to stop bleeding. But the real crises of our time are slow. They unfold over years. Dementia creeping through a mind, frailty hollowing out muscles, diabetes eroding resilience, loneliness tightening around a life like a vice. These are not emergencies, they are trajectories. And our system does not know how to hold a trajectory. It knows how to bill for a visit, not how to accompany a person. It knows how to treat a number, not how to understand a life. It knows how to rescue, not how to sustain. The blind spot at the center of medicine. Aging is aging is the strongest risk factor for nearly every chronic disease. Yet medicine treats aging as inevitability rather than a biological process that can be measured, slowed, and shaped. We pour billions into late stage rescue and almost nothing into the upstream biology that drives decline. We celebrate drugs that add weeks of life to a single disease while ignoring inventions that could add healthy years across the population. It is like treating smoke while ignoring the fire. We have to build a system that treats the consequences of aging while while re, re, refusing to acknowledge aging itself. Fragmentation, the quiet engine of suffering. Consider Miss Green, a fictional but painfully familiar patient. She arrives in the emergency department after her third fall this year. She is dehydrated, confused, scared. The emergency department team stabilizes her. The hospital the hospital list adjusts her medications. Physical therapy evaluates her. Social work tries to find a rehab bed. Her daughter cries in the hallway, overwhelmed by the caregiving she has been doing alone. Everyone is doing their job. No one is responsible for the whole story. She is discharged with more appointments, more medications, more complexity. She will be back within weeks. This is not a failure of compassion. It is a failure of design. The economics of decline. We spend more each year and get sicker each decade. Fee for service. Rewards. Volume, not coherence. Pharma pipelines. Chase reimbursable diseases, not aging biology. Health systems invest in profitable procedures, not longitudinal care. We have built a system that is financially allergic to prevention. The result is predictable. We pour money into late stage decline while starving the science and support systems that could prevent it. The human cost medicine doesn't see. Medicine treats bodies. People live lives. Health is shaped by housing, food, relationships, purpose, safety, and caregiving. And community. Yet these are labeled non-medical, as if the body were a medicine that could be repaired without touching the life that emanates it. The result is a system that excels at treating disease and struggles to support humanity. What a better story would look like. A modern system would treat aging as a clinical target, integrate geoscience into everyday care, invest in home-based and community-based support. Pay for continuity, not fragmentation. Train clinicians to see trajectories, not snapshots. Support caregivers as essential infrastructure. It would understand that the greatest medical challenge of our century is not a single disease. It is the slow erosion of resilience. The ending we cannot choose, or the ending we can choose. Modern medicine is failing us because it is fighting yesterday's battles. But failure is not destiny. We can build systems that sees people whole, that treats aging as the central thread of health, that values presence as much as procedure, that understands the quiet crisis unfolding in living rooms and long-term care facilities across the country. The question is not whether medicine can change, it is whether we will let it. Okay, here you go, guys. Here's the second part of B. Treating aging as a clinical target means measuring biological aging, testing interventions that slow or reverse those processes in trials and changing regulation and payment so clinicians can prescribe proven geoprotective therapies. Key considerations and decision points. What outcome matters? Lifespan versus health span. Years lived free of disability. Which biomarkers to use? Epigenetic clocks, inflammatory panels, functional measures. Regulatory path, disease specific versus aging endpoint trials. Payment models, reimburse, longitudinal, function, focused care rather than episodic procedures. How to make aging a clinical target, practical roadmap. Define measurable clinical endpoints. Start by adopting validated biomarkers and functional endpoints. Epigenetic clocks, gait speed, frailty, indices that correlate with morbidity and mortality. These enable shorter, trackable trials focused on health span rather than waiting for lifespan outcomes. Prioritize interventions with transitional evidence. Translate promising classes. Soloistics, clear sentences, cells, xenomorphics, suppress, SASP, mTOR inhibitors, metabolic modulators, from animal models into early human trials using biomarker and functional endpoints, early human studies, and transitional reviews. Support these strategies as plausible geoprotective approaches. Create regulatory trial pathways for aging indications. Work with regulators to accept composite functional based endpoints and surrogate biomarkers for accelerated approval of geoprotective therapies, design adaptive multi alarm trials that test innovations across multi-morbidity rather than single disease silos, align reimbursement and care delivery, shift payment toward trajectory-based models that reward preserved function and reduce hospitalizations, bundled payments for frailty prevention, coverage for home-based geriatric care. This creates market incentives for prevention and long-term benefits. Okay, guys, that is it for tonight. I will see everybody tomorrow for shows. Until then, Gator Wellness, take care, folks.